the one that got away. Especially at this time of life, when we look back, the one that got away seems to be a very prevalent topic. Thank you so much for joining us today on Second Act TV. So happy to welcome Treva Brandon Scharf back. Treva, I'm so glad you're here again today.
Oh, you know how I feel about you. I think you should dump Paul. I'll get rid of Robbie, and we'll just get married. Let's just do it. We love each other. Come on.
That's so funny. Well, you know what? That kind of leads us right into our conversation today. If you have not seen Treva, let me just quickly give you a little bit more of an introduction. Treva is the host of Done Being Single along with her husband, Robbie. And she's a dating coach, life coach, fitness coach. You have so many accreditations. She's just wonderful to work with.
Thank you.
And you're just a fabulous writer. You're an author. You have a new book coming out.
Yes.
And one of the topics that you're writing about that I really want to talk about today, it got my attention when we talked about it, the one that got away. Especially at this time of life, when we look back, many of us live with regrets. The one that got away seems to be a very prevalent topic. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. I think we all have one. And the one that got away is different than the one that broke up with you. You know, it's not, to me, when if asked, so what does that mean, the one that got away? To me, the one that got away is the girlfriend that didn't last, or the boyfriend you dumped, or, you know, the marriage that didn't work. And it's not for reasons having anything to do with disgust or anger, or it's kind of like you have them, you hold them in some regard, you still care, you cared at the time, but it just wasn't enough. You couldn't go all the way. And I have a couple, I think I do, but it's not that they got away. I let them go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people have to be clear on the difference between someone who you broke up with, as opposed to someone that you realized and you knew instinctively or intuitively, if this was just never going to work. How you arrive at that is this is the conversation we're going to have.
Well, why is that so big then? If you intuitively knew that it wasn't going to work, why the regret? Why the regret now, and what do we do about it?
Okay, I hope you don't regret it. You should not regret it, because that means you didn't trust your intuition. You didn't trust your instincts that this was not right. There's always a chance for you to circle back if it becomes so burning. It's like this, burning need, or this sort of unfilled thing or void or curiosity. You can always circle back and contact the person again. There are ways to do this that are respectful, and I think show some maturity. But hopefully you will have been comfortable with your decision to begin with, and not be living in regret, because it will eat you alive. Regret will eat you alive. You can dream about it, you can muse about it, you can fantasize, you can nostalgicize. Nostalgicize?
Sure, it's a word now.
You can romanticize. Who hasn't? I often wonder, what would life be like had I married so-and-so? It's something that I will always be curious about, but I don't let it, it hasn't like that, oh shit, I made a terrible mistake. I have not ever gone there. And that's where you have to say, okay, I can kind of think about the what ifs. But more than that, it turns into regret and rumination, and a lot of self-loathing. And my favorite is shame, because then there's this, oh, I'm an idiot. I'm just a failure. I fucked up again. And no, you really didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, there's a lot written on it. When you told me about the article that you're writing, I googled, some stuff to get to prep for our conversation today, and it's just blogs and blogs and blogs and blogs. So
Sure.
big topic. There's some signs. I think you mentioned some of them. Like or holding on to proof. That you still have pictures, and that's probably a good sign that maybe you're not quite over this person.
Right, right.
They've moved on, but you're still
Yes.
thinking, that it's they've moved on, but you didn't. That's a tough one too.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
Projecting onto others, always comparing them to new people that are coming into your life, and then what you just said, the endless rumination that's going on in your head, it can literally drive you crazy, and you don't want that. And I'm wondering how many people are in that boat, so to speak. Leave us your comments because we'd really like to hear.
No, I'm very curious about this, because I can't be the only one that has experienced this. And it wasn't, I mean, I knew at the time the people that were not right for me, they weren't right because I wasn't, it was me. It was not them, it was me. Hello, it's not you, it's me. It really was. It was me, not them. And that was okay. Do I kick myself? No, no. I often I muse about it. What would my life look like? I probably would have maybe had a kid or two and be divorced.
Hmm.
Had I not respected my or honored my highest good and did what I was supposed to do, or did what was expedient, or did what was expected. I think a lot of people get married for those reasons. And I just felt like this is not me. I could not be true to myself had I stayed with those people. So I ultimately let them go. And they were the ones that got away, because there was really nothing that wrong with them.
Yeah. How healthy is it to dwell on that? That's one thing that came up for me, and because it is, you're living in a state of regret, and that isn't healthy. The and how do you get past it? What should people do?
Well, I wrote a blog post about this, and I came up with a bunch of good and bad reasons to let the one that got away get away. Okay, I think there are good reasons to let the one get away, to let the one get away. Um, Let them go. Let them go because you're not ready. Let them go because you're not. It's you can't. You don't see a future with them. Let them go because you don't have the same goals. Let them go because it's just not the right time. I mean, those are good reasons. Not so good reasons would be like you're coming from a place of fear, or you have limited beliefs about what you're capable of doing, or you have attachment issues and you can't get close. I mean, those are all sort of, or you think there's something better, or you don't think enough of yourself. Maybe you don't feel worthy of a really great healthy relationship, or you're too used to drama or chaos and it's boring if you don't have that. Those are kind of not great reasons to keep letting the one get away. And at that point, I think you have to stop and go, okay, is it me or is it them? And that's a kind of a great moment of reflection, to do some inner work and maybe get some help, because if it's becoming a pattern and you are letting good people go, there may be something to that.
One thing that came to mind for me, especially when you said, we all have one, and that was written a lot as well. Everybody, we all have that one. And I honestly, I really, did I have one? Not really. And then I thought again, and the reason I don't think I had one is because when I thought about it, it's like, oh my God, thank God I didn't stay
Right,
there. So
right.
I played it out in my head would have been like had we done this.
That's right, right. So take a minute, right, before you, let's just say before as you're thinking of breaking up with someone, and take a very deep breath and get very grounded and very quiet. And what do you feel? What are you feeling about? How are you feeling? What's coming to you as you think about staying with that person? And what comes up if you think about letting them go. And you felt it immediately. You knew it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? You dodged a bullet.
Yeah. It wasn't necessarily just my decision to break up. It was somewhat mutual, and I always, I wondered for a bit, well, what would it be like? And now it's like, oh my God, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, right. Me too. And I can think of two, as I was saying right now off the top of my head, that it probably would have been, I would have had a nice life, and you and I've talked about this, but I wasn't maybe in love and as much as I should have been, and I was also at a time in my life that there was no way I was ready. I wasn't, the thing with me in marriage, I was like, I had. What did I call it? Late onset marriage syndrome. So, so I wasn't ready for years and years and years. It's interesting to play out. So as I was saying, if you're thinking about moving on or releasing someone, visualize, get clear, get quiet in your head and think it out, play it out, think it through, play it out. What would it look like if you stay? If you are still pining after days, weeks, months, years, again, I've heard a lot of stories, I think we all have, about people who have regretted it so bad and somehow make their way back to that person to say, oh my God, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm here to make amends. I'm here to apologize, explain to you what I was feeling. I'm sorry if I hurt you, but I wasn't in the right, frame of mind. It wasn't the right time, and I couldn't. I hope we can give it another shot. I don't know. It happens.
Yeah. If they haven't moved on.
If they haven't moved on, right.
Yeah,
Right.
it really is. It brings up a lot of you know memories when we talk about this, and I'm wondering what it's bringing up for our viewers. I'd love to hear some stories. How when we talk about this, what do you think about how did you get through it? Are you still pining for someone? Because that's not a good place to be. And I don't know that you and I have the answers. We're not psychologists. We experience it and we understand how important it is that people become aware that they may be stuck in this. And one of the recommendations that I read here is, accept your reality, that you really need to accept where
Yes.
you are.
Yes. No, the two greatest things we can ever ask for, I think, are closure and peace of mind. Coming to some peace and acceptance that, okay, I did what was right for me at the time. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. It wasn't, apparently. If it is, you will find each other again. It's crazier stuff's happen, right? Miracles happen, but that it's really incumbent upon you to release and let go and release yourself. Because that's like a prisoner. You're just imprisoning yourself in some sort of strange mental, prison where you're unable to move forward and you can't go back. Now, this is where the self-shaming comes in, because it will turn to that, because you will beat yourself. I did, what was I thinking? God, I could just, it's killing me. It's eating me up. I made the worst mistake of my life. I will never get over it. I will never meet anybody like this person. No, you will. No, you will. But it's going to take some time and effort to kind of switch the channels and stop pining, stop ruminating, stop thinking about that person.
Yeah. And become a better option. I thought that was a really good piece
Yes.
of advice. If what you really want to attract, be that.
For sure. The other thing I would say is really important is to stay grounded in what didn't work. Like keep remembering why it didn't work and why that person wasn't right for you. Because if you go there, you stay there, it will make the healing process much easier. The other thing I would say is really important is to stay grounded in what didn't work. Like keep remembering why it didn't work and why that person wasn't right for you. Because if you go there, you stay there, it will make the healing process much easier. And that's like from the perspective of a late bloomer who made a ton of mistakes. Hello, walking mistake. I mean, I dedicate a whole chapter, okay, to fucking up. I mean, not just a paragraph, a whole chapter. But oh boy, isn't this great? It gave me a great story to tell, and I learned from the lessons, and that's one of them.
Great, great. Well, Trevor, we're coming to the end. Anything else you want to add on letting the one get away, or the one that got away, get away?
I'm really interested now to hear feedback. I want to hear from your viewers, how they handled it, if they're dealing with it right now, what they can suggest. I love the user experience here, the user generated. This is where user generated content comes in handy, because it's you all can act as if like your own little shrinks, be little therapist, be therapist to your fellow people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love
Tell
it.
us how you did it.
Yeah, this actually might be a really good topic actually for one of our therapists. How do you really deal with this, in a healthy way? So, Treva, thank you so much. As usual, we'll link to all of your information, and I look forward to another conversation with you soon on Second Act TV.
All right.
If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too, and we'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.